Hi, and welcome back to part number 3 of the Tamiya 132 scale Mitsubishi A6M2b Zero Fighter Model 21 Zeke. Whew, that's a mouthful. Okay, in part number 2 of this video series, I was able to get steps 1 through 14 completed. Not a whole lot to talk about. Everything went together fine, including all of the tricky bits. One thing to note, if you have to determine right now whether or not you're going to have the pilot figure in the aircraft, because he has to actually be installed in the seat before the back, the rear bulkhead is attached to the rest of the cockpit. Now it shows to put the arms on, or at least the right arm on after that's together. I did not do that, and it's not necessary. His hand does not fit properly over the control stick there, but I'm okay with that. Not too many people are going to be looking down there anyways. But everything goes together fine. Just pay attention to the tolerances, make sure everything's closed up really well. There was a couple of inside of the inside edge of the fuselage where this firewall or whatever it is contacts. There was like some protrusions, and they are not illustrated in the instructions here. They would be right in here on both sides, right on that little edge, and they don't attach to anything. There's no indentations in the firewall, anything like that, so I chopped them off. But anyway, it all went together fine, and this is what I ended up with. It's very nice and solid, and it'll be interesting to see how the wings fit. But the figure is good. I don't like the goggles much. I just don't. I don't know if I got them on there crooked, or if I just don't have them positioned right. I just don't care for the goggles too much, but they're there now. But my figure painting and figure work is, at best mediocre. But it is something that I'm practicing with, and been, getting a little bit better with each one. With that in mind, the standing figure, I'll finish cleaning this up really well, and I will be painting him. But I want to get some more paints in order to, get the colors a little more accurate. But the figures are really good, very serviceable for this aircraft. I don't know if you can see very well in the video on screen there, but the facial features look good. All the molding is really nice, and it just, it's not an Alpine figure, but they're really kind of good. So I think that'll be a good practice piece. I've actually completed steps 15 and 16, which are the right and left horizontal stabilizers. They have movable control surfaces. There is some photo etch involved. It's kind of fiddly a little bit, but just with some patience, fits together just fine. Clamp together while it's drying, and you are good to go. So those are complete. So the next thing that's called out are the left and right horizontal stabilizers and the rudder. Now I'm going to have to determine if I want to install those right now or not, because I do have a little bit more cleanup to do, like this lower seam here. Hopefully these seams here will look good under paint. I do have a little bit more work to do up here. It's just unfortunate that it's going to be tricky. It won't be impossible, but it will be tricky to get this stuff cleaned up really well without obliterating the rivet detail, because it really is nice, but we'll see what happens. Alright, so enough blabbing. I will get cracking on this here step 17, 18, 19, I'll maybe not in that exact order, but I will get cracking on those and come back. Alright, here we are. Let's see. how far I've come. So I got all of the horizontal stabilizers, vertical stabilizer, and the rudder. The rudder is not installed yet. I'm going to save those for last because those are going to be painted a little bit different color since they are fabric covered on the real deal. The lower wing, I did not drill the holes because for bombs, because Zeros at Pearl Harbor did not use any bombs. I did drill the hole for the nut for the stand, since I'm going to be putting on a stand part of the time. Just went through all these parts. Now these gear doors, they're totally doable. They're just a little bit fiddly because of the wires and everything, but just careful attention needs to be paid to all those little parts. Now here's one thing that I am going to comment on that I find funny on models nowadays. And that's stuff like this. You got this fully detailed gun. I mean, it's simplistic in that it doesn't have a large parts count, but you know, you've got the chute here, you've got the gun, the 20mm cannon, you've got the magazine. It's all supposed to be painted, but all said and done, you're going to see this part right here, and that's from the front. See that in there? I mean, that's all you got. So, you know, I did it all just because, but sometimes I really wonder about what the point is for that stuff. And there's that old argument, it's like, well, I know it's there. Yeah, that's fine, you know, and if you're into that kind of stuff, that's cool, but I'm the type that my modeling wants and desires are beginning to change. And I did this, but when I do my next one, because I do have another one of these, all this internal stuff, it ain't gonna happen. And we'll get into that at another time. But anyway, there's some stuff that, you know, if you want it, do it, but you know, if you skip it, it's probably not that big a deal. With step 23, we get into the mechanism stuff here. And it does work. It's not real easy to manipulate, but they do open. And one thing to watch for is when, if you do one of these and you close it, you got to make sure that thing goes backwards and then close. But one thing that would have been nice is that the tolerance, now talking about tolerances, is that the tolerances for the around the edge were a little bit better, because it's easy to push these down too far. See, like that doesn't line up that great. So you got to really mess around. I don't know how easy it's going to be to manipulate these things into a proper flushness with the gear in. Then you have these little doors here. So there's a lot of work involved in getting these things open. It'll be interesting to see how it works with the landing gear completely installed. But anyway, all that stuff fits pretty good. Now, once you get all this stuff done, and all of this, and all of this, you're getting real close to being done with it. Now here is the, there's a couple of O-rings here that go underneath this cap on top of the floor, or the lower part of the wing. That is for the drop tank, so you can install it or pull it off. Now here's another one of those things just kind of crazy to me. So you have this is where the stand comes through. If you're going to use the stand, that's where the nut goes. If you don't do that, it says you put this stuff in there. But again, that is 100% invisible. I mean, you wouldn't be able to get a dental tool down in there to be able to, you know, reflect and see this stuff here. So, is this necessary? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so then it's time to attach the wings. Now here is where I ran into my first struggles. And I believe in full transparency. As I can say, see, look, isn't that awesome? Well, no, it's not awesome. When I put it all together, it fit really good in the back, or it fit really good in the front. If you tried to push it down level, they both don't go down at the same time. There was something, I could rock the fuselage back and forth on here. So there was something, and there's a lot of somethings down in there underneath this cockpit that was making contact and not aligning. So I had to do some trimming and shaving and all that kind of stuff to get it to fit down in there, and to get the wing root to where it was pretty, you know, as flush as could be. But and again, I'm sure it's something I did, like this fuselage module. Once it's all complete, it probably really has to be jammed up inside of here, and maybe I didn't have it seated as good as I thought I did, and I thought I had it seated pretty well, but it took some work. So does it make or break the kit? Nah, I don't think so. It's just one of those things that that happens during construction of these things. So then it was on to the flaps, the ailerons. You don't use bombs in this kit, no bombs. Which brings us up to the landing gear. So that's part I'm going to work on next. I've got them all skewered up and ready for some paint. And once I get rolling on that, then we'll talk some more. Whoops. Okay. So I got the landing gear complete. Looks pretty good. It is operable, which, you know, I guess that's kind of groovy. Bounces up and down. It's got these nice brake lines, which are a nice touch, and just looks pretty good. So they need some decals, but I'm not going to do those just yet. I've got the tail hook painted. I've got the rear wheel done and all of that, but I just need to paint the tire portion. But with that, I'm not going to actually install the landing gear just yet. I'm going to wait till the end to do that. So with those parts assembled and set aside, I can move on to the engine. Alright, I've got all the components for the engine ready to go. So I'm going to get cracking on this and get it all put together up to step 43. And then I'll kind of treat 44 as its own deal and then install that as well. Okay, a bit of time has passed and here we are. So I got the inside of this painted. These are temporarily attached while I paint the exterior. I can't paint the exterior till I get the canopy, windscreen, etc. on, and I'm waiting for some masks, and here's why. These things right here, I just wasn't having much luck with them. These really tight corners make it pretty tough, and it's really hard to cut these out. And I've done it before, but honestly, I'd rather, you know, for the $10 I spent for Edward masks, I'm willing to wait a little bit. Those should be in hopefully next week, but once I get those in, I can put the canopies and all that kind of stuff on, and I'll be ready to move on with painting. So there's the fuselage. The drop tank is done. So that's ready for paint. I did the wingtips and they are basically you get two sets of wingtips. One for straight in and one for folded, and I've got those assembled. For the folded, they basically come with these, or you install these photo etch parts here, so you can pose it in a folded tip fashion. And you know, I'm probably not even going to ever really have those in place. I might put one in place just to show what it looks like. But you know, they're here, so I might as well paint them up and have them, you know, on display with the actual aircraft. Then we have the ones for putting the straight deployed wingtips. So all of this stuff is ready to go for paint. The control surfaces are ready to go for paint. I will be doing these separate because I'm going to do them in a little bit lighter color and slightly, just ever so slightly grayer, because apparently from what I've read, these things would fade to a little more grayish scale. So we'll see how that looks. So those are ready. The cowling has been painted inside and out. Now there's lots of talk about the cowling color and the cowl flaps and the rear deck. Oh, I'm sorry. I also put the gun sight in this front platform on there. But talk about this being slightly, ever so slightly blue, and I believe that to be the case. However, for this kit, I'm going strictly off of the color callouts from Tamiya, right or wrong. And the reason I'm doing that is I have another one of these kits that I'm going to build without all the gizmos. It's just going to be built either gear up or gear down only, without all the tricky stuff. And I'm going to use a different brand of paint altogether, specifically MRP lacquers, and they make a Japanese cowling color is what it's called, and it has just a faint bluish cast to it. That way when I get them done, I can do kind of a side-by-side comparison, for no other reason than I want to. But anyway, I got it painted and that's ready to go. The cowls are ready to be mounted onto the engine, which is complete here. Now I still have to, once I paint the fuselage, you know, the main part of the aircraft, once I paint all of this, the control surface and everything else, I'll be shooting with a gloss coat for whenever I do the decals. And yes, I know it's not necessary. However, I like to do it because I find sometimes it's a little bit easier to slide the decal around on a glossy surface for positioning. I don't feel it really is necessary for the decal to settle in better with the gloss compared to flat. I just like it because it's easier to slide it around into place, and because I like to weather, at least for my washes, which is going to be the primary weathering I'm going to do on this aircraft. I like to do that on a gloss surface just for ease of cleanup. But anyway, I'm going to gloss this at the same time so I can do some nice washes and do some probably dry brush weathering powders maybe on the engine to kind of bring out some of the detail. Right now it looks kind of flat, especially on camera, but I want to do some dry brushing, kind of bring some of that stuff out after I do some washes. Then once I do that, I can actually install the whole thing together, do the markings, spray it flat, and I'll be good to go. The landing gear, I really like these landing gear, not so much because of the, you know, the tricky compression you can do with it, but I like the brake line that comes with it. It's flexible, it looks like a brake line, so that's one less added thing a person has to do to make it look right. Now I will note that for some reason this particular, oh, there, I fixed it. It was kind of twisted. I don't know if it was a fault in the this metal part being pressed into this, or however they do it, but I just fixed it. It was twisted. Looked kind of goofy. It's kind of neat that the scissor portion there also moves, and that's where this rubberized material comes in handy for compressing that. Tail wheel, still need to paint the tail wheel itself, but that's all ready to go. So basically all of the assembly is done, with the exception of the parts that will be installed after final painting, glossing, stuff like that. So that's it for right now. So as far as fit issues or anything like that, I haven't really had any. Everything's gone together pretty well, except for that kind of twisty bit I was talking about here, but that just worked itself out. The control surface hinges and stuff like that, not too bad. I'm not sure if I mentioned it. I did have a little bit of trouble, I think I did, with the fuselage to wing assembly, but I'm sure that was my fault, because I'm thinking maybe I just didn't get the cockpit module jammed up inside of here and maybe clamped as good as it should have been, because it was kind of rocking back and forth in the middle. But shaved some stuff off on the bottom, and eventually it fit pretty nicely. But other than that, not really any fit issues. The engine, you know, it's you know, got a lot of stuff going on there, a lot of pre-painting before assembly, but again, not that big a deal at all. It all went together nicely. So yeah, I think that's really all I need to talk about. The propeller, did get that painted, and the spinner, and I used Vallejo metal color, just because I've been having trouble with I need to get some rapid dry lacquer thinner. Mr. Color makes some, you know, rapid thinner, because with the Mr. Leveling thinner, I think I'm having a problem with the metal flakes or whatever settling a little bit, because it's taking longer to cure. So the color or the reflectivity, it almost becomes a little more grayer. It's like it's not keeping the metallic flakes suspended throughout the fluid. I don't know if that makes sense, or if I'm even describing that correctly. And I think it also, because it dries, takes longer to dry, I think it might be dissolving the primer underneath, because that's the Mr. Surfacer 1000 and 1500 is what I usually use. And it's just, so I decided to use this water-based acrylic product instead, and it turned out pretty good. I've used them before, and I do like them. They do seem to work pretty well. I may give this another shot, but anyway, it's all painted up, ready to go. So I think with all of that, I can call this video quits until I get the canopy masks in. Once I get those, then I'll pick it up again. So that ends part 3 of the Tamiya 132 scale A6M2b 0. So next time we come back, hopefully I can start doing some of this final assembly, do the main painting, start thinking about getting this project wrapped up. So if you like this video, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet and you want to follow the rest of this build, either the portions already released or the parts that are coming up, or maybe check out some of my other projects, please hit the subscribe button. So that's it for now, from Plastic Models by a Regular Dude. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.